welcome back to today's episode of the Tundra Cast. And today we're going to be talking about Seattle. And today I'm joined by Shay
What's up, guys?
and Nick.
Hello, hello.
So I guess, Shay, why don't you take the floor away?
So Seattle is an interesting team to say the least. I mean,
Bad.
they've been better. They've been better since the start of the season. let's get that out of the way. But it's like everyone knew Seattle was gonna be garbage because Ron Francis is such a shit GM.
I
And the draft was god awful.
I think
and
a lot
was
of
a shit
it
coach.
is I think a lot of people if you did think that Seattle was going to be good, I think it's for a single reason. Their defense and their goaltending was on paper it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Going into the season now,
Guerrero's been a bit better, but he's still been
their
really weak.
their best goaltender. Let me pull it up real quick. You guys can keep talking while I pull it up.
Can we also say why did they retire the number 32? That's so cheesy. Like, that's so
super
cheesy.
They have more retired numbers than the Predators do.
Like Vegas did. Vegas retiring 58 made sense, and it was done for a good cause because of the shooting. But you're gonna retire 32 because you're the 32nd NHL team. Fuck off! Come on.
That's so stupid. Or
It's dumb.
wait, their actual reason was it was for the 32,000 fans that can come into our arena at a time. Yeah, shut up. I don't care.
It's for
It's
the
still
32
stupid.
was actually retired for the price of water now at the Climate Pledge Arena.
Hey guys, we gotta pay for those electric zambonis. You gotta pay $50 for a water here, man. But yeah, here's their goalies, and it's gonna go in range of save percentage because goals against average doesn't really mean anything. Chris Drieger is their best goalie in terms of save percentage with an .895 save percentage.
Yikes.
Then it goes to Philip Grubauer, .882, and then Joey Decord, .866. So it's pretty bad.
I said this when they did the draft, and I can see the appeal of taking Grubauer, especially there you had in Colorado. But for one, Colorado was such a stacked team last year. They had a great year. Second, if you look back on Grubauer, he's been inconsistent like his entire career. He has like a good season and then like a bunch of bad games, and then a good year and then a bunch of bad games. It happens every year with him. So, and it's always like you don't want to always see it in free agency all the time as well. As you don't want to really sign guys based off of a career year.
Yeah.
It's such a dangerous thing to do, especially long term wise.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I didn't like the Grubauer signing as well because they took Drieger and they signed him to a 3x3, and I was like, wasn't the point of Drieger was to make him your starter and then make him into that starting role? But whatever.
Yeah, it seemed well. Nothing about the Seattle draft was fun or cool or anything because
it got
no trades.
No trades, and it got leaked like a day before, like a couple hours before. So we were just like,
Valley, man.
We were just like, I remember.
I don't know how we made it through that stream. How did we make it through that stream?
I think it was mainly just me messing around.
Yeah, of course, like you always do.
Listen, every time I stream, I have to mess around and edit some things. But hold on a second. You guys keep talking.
Well, since we're on topic Seattle, of course, I want to just look through their season so far and compare it to other expansion teams.
They have some decent pieces, like Jared McCann, for example. I still wish we had Jared McCann.
Leafs
I'm still
legend.
pissed. Leafs legend Jared McCann. I'm still pissed that we traded him away. Like, he's a good player, but Jordan Eberle, I don't think has been too bad either on that team.
Yanni
Gord's been their best player. Same with Yanni Gord.
Wenberg's actually been better than I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon Tanner is on pace for like 41 points.
He's good, yeah.
He's good. You know what I think the biggest issue is?
What?
Dave Hackstall.
Who wouldn't know? It's not like we called it since day one.
Yeah, it's not like we all were like, oh man, he sucks since day one. But it's just it's kind of just a big thing when you look at players and their success the season before and now. I mean, what? Kelly Yarncroke, who has always been amazing for Nashville, has like 5 points so far.
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure their goals leader, besides Eberle and McCann, is Tanev.
Oh, let's go!
Yeah, Eberle's got 12, McCann's got 11, and Tanev's got 9.
That's pretty elite, man.
And their goaltending hasn't been great, and I think their special teams are terrible. Let's see. Their power play is 17.7%, and their penalty kill is
Power play's not that bad.
81.0.
They're mid. They're mid. Very mid.
They're mid. Their face-off percentage, I don't think it really matters, but just for the sake of it, 49.3.
You want that to be like around 50.
They allow 28.3 shots against per game.
I mean, that's not bad. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're a top 5, top 10 team in that department. So they're
fine. Second in that department.
Yeah, that's really good.
And so what that means is...
But that means they're not getting saves.
They're not getting saves, and that's what they need. If you're going to allow a lot of shots, that's good if you can make the saves. But
you're allowing no shots, you're not getting saves.
You're not allowing any shots, and you're not getting any saves. That's even worse than allowing a lot of shots and not getting the saves. Because if you're allowing 28.3 shots against per game, and none of your goaltenders have a save percentage even close to 900,
90, yeah.
Because the closest one is 5 points away.
That's still a big difference.
Yeah, if you can't even get close to that while only allowing that many shots per game, that's a big problem.
Yeah. Like, this was a trend even to start the season. Like, I mean, they start off against Vegas. I mean, fine, you lose that game. Vegas is a good team. You beat Nashville. And yeah, I knew that was coming. You lose to Columbus. And, like, you got to win your home opener. I get it. It's against the Canucks, who are now 6-0. So, the Bruce Boudreau podcast is already at 8.
Well, not really, because it was more of Bruce Boudreau can turn them around. It's just that he won't do shit for them in the playoffs.
But yeah, like, you needed a good start, and they haven't done that. Like, they lost what? I think they lost 6 straight in November. That killed them.
The only team that can survive and do well after a terrible start is Nashville, because we see it every year. We started like 1-6 or 1-7. Because we lost our opener to Seattle, and we lost, and we kept losing, and now we're 19, 10, and
you're in the playoff spot. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And I never really got the Vegas comparisons, because first of all, Vegas had Gerard fucking Gallant, so yeah, Dave Haxtell's nowhere near as good as Gallant, and also.
Grubauer's not as good as Fleury.
That's that. But also, Vegas' schedule, they took advantage of it. They started on a road against Dallas and Arizona. Then their home opener came against Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm counting this right now. In their first 9 games, 7 of them are at home. Oh. That's a huge advantage.
But didn't they start pretty bad that season?
No, they went 8-1.
No, they were amazing.
Okay.
They went 8-1.
But
they went 11-1-1 in December.
Jesus.
But that's with guys like, because remember that there's that stretch when Fleury, Subban, and even Oscar Dansk went down with injuries.
Yeah.
So Maxim Legacy, son of Manny Legacy, carried the starting role, and he went like 8-4-1.
Yeah.
He was insane.
My thoughts after we played Seattle was, of course, I was pretty angry that we lost.
Yeah.
Because you never like to lose and give a team their first win. And obviously you never like to see your team lose. But I was like, man, this team is tough. Because they wouldn't let you in the offensive zone. It was just, they got big bodies on the defense. They don't let you into the zone. And it's hard to just do anything. But ever since that game, they've been getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. And now it's to the point where, yeah, they still don't let you in the offensive zone, but you could just cross the blue line, do a little flick down to the goalie, and they'll let it in.
Yeah.
I'll just say this as well. Just off topic a little bit. But I just noticed that the assistant general manager to Ron Francis in Seattle is none other than Jason Botterill.
Wow.
So I think that tells you about the future of this team and that there is none. Yeah, I don't know who came up with that hire, but
weren't people saying that Ron Francis was pretty good though before?
I mean, here's the funny thing. Francis was fired by Carolina in 2017-2018. The next year, they made the playoffs. So I'm just saying, he might not be that good.
Just remember, we were all shitting on the guy that Vegas hired to be their first coach, and that was the guy who traded
Forsberg for Lada and Erat.
You were gonna spoil my fucking joke.
Oh, it's pretty obvious what you're gonna say. You're a fucking Nashville fan.
Okay, but still, I was gonna do a funny. You know what? I'm still gonna do it. Don't care. He traded away some unknown guy for the goats, Martin Erat and Michael Latta, and the guy who he traded away turned out to be Philip Forsberg, who
sucks.
Yeah, he's pretty terrible. He's not even first in the franchise's goal scoring history. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, pretty trash in my opinion.
Yeah, it's terrible. But
I'm looking at what Seattle did over the summer too, right? They signed Jaden Schwartz, who's actually been good. He has 19 points in 27 games. That contract's still a bit too rich for my money, but he's been fine. Alex Winberg, who I still don't think is worth $4.5 million for the next 3 years, but he's bringing a good two-way game. He's getting his points, so that's fine. But a couple guys you look at, like Jonas Donskoy, he has 14 points, whole assists. He needs to get some scoring done. Morgan Geekie, this guy had so much potential.
Yeah.
He only has 8 points in 29 games, so you got to get this secondary scoring. Marcus Johansson. Yeah, it really hasn't been the same since that cross-check from Marchand, but 6 points in 18 games, you'd like him to do better. Appleton, 6 points in 18 games, you want him to do better. Blackwell, he had a great year last year, 3 points in 8 games. Like, they need more contributions from the lineup and not just from Everly, Schwartz, McCann, and Gord, and Tanev. They need the rest of their depth to step up, and they haven't done that. They haven't gotten that yet.
Every time they get depth, as in Alex Bure-Boulay, they just waive him. I think Bure-Boulay was a good pickup, but
yeah, then they just waived him, and now Tampa has him again.
They're like, go away, we don't want you. You're good.
It's like a conditioning stint, essentially. Like he could have been good.
But first of all, I just want to say this because we got to keep, this me being a psychic, we got to keep this alive, and it's still alive. It's not like bullshit. I called UPL being good when he was called up. Fuck you, Shea. What? I was right.
Wait, what? Wait, what does that do with anything?
Oh, it doesn't. I was just making a point.
Wait, when did I ever say anything bad about UPL? I literally praised UPL in the Buffalo podcast. What are you on?
No, because I said that Buffalo shouldn't trade or acquire any other goalie, right?
I didn't say anything about that either.
And everybody was like, "Oh no." I know you didn't say any of that. I was just saying fuck you.
Why?
Just cause.
I love UPL. What the fuck did what?
Yeah.
UPL literally carried my Buffalo franchise mode. I don't hate the man.
He carried mine too. You know what, Shea? I love you.
We're getting way too sidetracked here, guys.
Anyways, okay, okay. Where the hell were we? But yeah, they need depth scoring, and they need to keep the depth scoring. And we made fun of George McPhee because he was the guy who traded away Forsberg for Erat and Latta. And, but he made good moves.
Their draft was genius.
It was genius, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Seattle really didn't do as well because a lot of teams smartened up. Well, yeah, that's kind of right, but at the same time, they didn't make any trades. They could have made a trade. They had offers, apparently.
Tarasenko was on the block.
Yeah.
Voracek.
Like, at the moment, why not? Because every fan base on Earth was going to want and to expect them, not want, but they were going to expect them, only Seattle's fan base would have wanted it, but they were going to expect them to be at least as good as Vegas was.
Right.
But Vegas went in there and made big brain moves. Seattle went in there and was like,
they weren't creative.
They want like 2 first-round picks to acquire a player.
Their ask was insane.
Yeah.
Let's just show a bit of difference. Vegas acquired Shea Theodore, probably their best defenseman.
To take Clayton Stoner.
Seattle did nothing like that.
No.
You could have easily went to Philly and say, "Hey, we'll take, like, just say, like, we'll take Jacob Voracek if you give us Morgan Frost or Nolan Patrick." They could have easily done that.
Yeah, you could have gone to Nashville, and obviously, as a Nashville fan, I said it back then, and I wouldn't say it now, but I said that we need to offload one of those $8 million contracts.
Yeah.
So both those $8 million contracts are looking pretty good now. Anyways, you could have went to them and said, "Hey, we'll take Duchesne or Johansson because Johansson has less time on his deal left, and you got to give us like a prospect or two, someone that could contribute to your future." And Nashville's prospect, well, not Fabro,
maybe not Fabro, but
yeah, but like they could, because Nashville's got a pretty deep and pretty good prospect pool. They could have asked for Afanaseyev, Delgazio,
Yaroslav Askarov.
They could have asked for him. They could have asked for him. They could have asked for Gunnar Wolf-Fontaine, Grant Mishmash. Gotta say those two prospect names. I love those two names.
Yeah, like he could have went to Edmonton and say, "Hey, we'll take the crappy contract with Zach Cassidy and give us Raphael Lavoie."
Yeah, because there were a lot of players that teams did not protect because they didn't want them. Yeah. For instance, Tarasenko, he was not going to get protected because they didn't want him. Why not just say, "Hey, we'll take him off your hands"? But
why not just take him off for free?
Yeah, but even still, they could have taken Tarasenko off for free, but they also could have demanded something to get rid of that contract.
Could have said, "Hey, give us Tarasenko. Like, we'll take Tarasenko. Give us Klim Kostin." Like,
yeah, because especially because Seattle came in at the perfect time because every team was in dire need of cap space.
Because this is like flat cap.
Yeah, every team was in dire need of cap space, and that was something that they easily could have contributed towards and been like, "Oh, hey, well, screw it. We'll take big contracts if you give us some prospects." And they could have done it so easily because a lot of teams would have been desperate for more cap space, especially some of the teams that thought that they would be contenders and wanted to build.
And honestly, like, I feel like they didn't weaponize their cap space properly. Like, Vegas used their cap space wisely. Like, I don't think they didn't spend any money in free agency. If they did, it would have been very minor leaguers. But, like, they saved their cap space and they used it at the deadline. I'm pretty sure that Seattle only has $5 million in cap space.
Yeah.
Like,
that's rough.
There's no point of wasting it all in free agency and stuff. I know, I heard that. We'll be done in 10 minutes. But I just think I didn't get Ron. It's like Ron Francis didn't really have a plan. He just kind of blindly made moves.
Well, and that's the thing is because they have $5 million in cap space.
You want to know who their free agents are?
For who?
You want to know here's their free agents. McCann, who will get $5 million.
Yeah.
Calle Yarncrow, who will probably go to free agency. Johansson. Appleton will get $2 million. McCormick. Donato. Speaking about Donato, he hasn't played a lot. Like, this kid, Donato is only 25. He's so skilled.
He's good.
What if Yarncrow literally just comes back to Nashville?
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
It actually might happen because we do have a lot of cap space.
They got to re-sign Giordano. They have guys to re-sign, and they're not going to have cap space.
But what is like Vegas? They have no cap space, and they have a lot of great fucking players on their team.
Speaking about Vegas, they will trade one of Riley Smith for Dadonov this.
Dadonov. Okay. But obviously, where is this cap space? Because they have $5 million in cap space. They have no players who
That's
produce.
worrying.
No.
Yeah, they have no players that produce. Obviously, there's a difference. If you look at Arizona, they got no cap space. But
yeah, they do. Well, this upcoming summer they do.
Yeah, this upcoming summer they have a shit ton. But right now,
52 million.
Yeah, but as of right now, they don't have a lot, right?
Yeah.
It really reminds me of Detroit from a few years ago when they had all those defensemen locked up to like crazy contracts.
But what
and they had
What is Seattle spending? Like who's their biggest deal?
You know what else that really pisses me off? Let's go back to the trades that Vegas made, of course, right? They also got first-round picks in those trades. You know that, right?
Yep.
Now, here's the funny thing. In those trades, they got 2 first-round picks. 2 of those first-round picks became Nick Suzuki and Eric Brandstrom. And they used these pieces to get better. They traded Nick Suzuki to get Max Pacioretty. They traded Brandstrom to get Mark fucking Stone. Seattle did none of that. Their prospect pool, besides Matty Beniers and Riker Evans, is so bleak.
Yeah.
They should have got draft picks in those trades, and they didn't. That was an opportunity wasted.
Yeah.
And if you are going to make a trade this year, who's your best trade chip? Giordano? He's not going to get you a first-round pick. They screwed that massively. You could have easily, let's go back to, Voracek or Tarasenko. If you didn't want Frost or Patrick or Clint Costa or whatever, you could have just said, give us a first-round pick.
Yeah.
You have more prospects and more trading assets. It's so stupid.
And you know what? Even if they did, let's say, they take Tarasenko for free, they could have flipped him at the deadline or something.
Yeah, and his value would go up.
Yeah, and it would have potentially gone up. But now you have Seattle, the team. They have no prospects besides Beniers. They have really nothing, and they're not going to be able to trade anybody because no one's value is going to be high because no one has been producing.
No.
Besides Eberle, but Eberle's on a modified no trade clause.
I think if you go up to Eberle and says, "Would you welcome a trade?" I think he would, because it's crazy to think about, but Eberle is turning 32. And he wants to win the cup. And Seattle's not going to be that team for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
Eberle could definitely net you a first-round pick.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, the only thing with Seattle is they got to realize if you've got a modified no trade clause, that limits your potential gettings because, hey, you could have a great deal coming your way and he could be like, I don't want to be traded there.
Yeah.
And that hurts your chances of getting back a great return.
Think about Eberle. The Islanders are so stupid. You fucking protected Matt Martin and Kyle Clutterbuck over Jordan
Matt Martin and Kyle Clutterbuck.
Yeah, funny thing is that the Islanders are looking for scoring. Wow, I wonder where I can find scoring.
Don't worry, Matt Martin will do a lot for us, guys. But yeah, it's so bad.
So essentially, what you're saying is the draft was the death of the franchise before they even played a game.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny how arrogant Seattle fans were. It's like, no, you're not gonna be like Vegas. You're gonna be like
who's making that comparison? That Vegas was like.
Well, no,
once in a lifetime.
Before the draft, you maybe could have been like, hey, they could be Vegas, especially with the names that were left unprotected. But you could be like, man, they could make the cup final. They could win the cup in year 1. But then it was like, no, you're not going to be like Vegas. You're going to be like every other team that had to earn their place in this
reputation.
League. Yeah.
Is it fair to say if the first Vegas team, so guys like Neil, Perron, all those guys, started, say, a year after or whatever, would they make the cup finals, yes or no? I lead to no.
I would also lead to no.
I think they'd be meh. And, the cup finals definitely help. I think the cup finals actually really helped Vegas because that gave them the impression to go all in, and that's what made them get Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, Max Pacioretty.
Yeah. That's a dream situation. It was perfect timing for Vegas. They make the Cup final. They have all this cap space, all these picks. Then they get all these prospects, and they make all these deals. Now they're like a super team essentially. They're so good.
They're like the Golden State Warriors from 2015 to 2019.
Yeah.
Just remember that they have Jack Eichel coming to their team soon.
He's a superstar. He hasn't played.
And all they have to do to basically be able to play him and everybody else on that amazing team is they just go, who wants Dadonov or who wants Smith? That's all they have to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, if you could get rid of Dadonov or Smith and then have Eichel playing with Stone and...
You know what's the funny I just realized? Well, Anaheim has Zegras, right?
Yes.
Edmonton has McDavid and Draisaitl. Yes. Vancouver has Elias Pettersson. Vegas has Eichel. San Jose has Couture. LA has Byfield and Kopitar. Seattle has Matty Beniers. And Calgary has Lindholm. One of these teams, I don't want to make this about the Flames, but like, if you're because the reason I'm bringing up the Flames is because of Jack Eichel. We know they were with Jack Eichel. Like, all 7 of those teams have stud first liners or future upcoming first liners, and Calgary doesn't. So Calgary in the middle of these times, is kind of screwed.
But at the same time, yeah, first liners does something pretty good. But at the same time, whoop, 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 whoop,
what the hell is that?
You could. I was making a joke like whoop, 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 whoop. You could have a stud first line. You could have McDavid, Matthews, and McKinnon all on one line. But you can't do shit if you don't have 3 other lines, 3 defensive pairings, and 2 goaltenders. So yeah, Calgary, they don't have a great first line. Lindholm at center, Johnny Hockey at left wing, and then
they moved Tkachuk to the right.
Tkachuk to right. That's an okay first line. It's not as good as every other line in their division, but that's a pretty good first line. But they have a more complete
lineup,
than any other team in their division, I'll say.
And I just don't know if it comes back to Seattle. Like, they gotta do better with drafting. They gotta acquire more picks. Like, they have 7 or 8 picks next year. Like, really? You're supposed to be rebuilding your expansion team. You should, you have no one in your prospect pool besides 2 guys. You gotta build up that prospect pool.
No, exactly.
Like, that's the reason why in 5 years' time, Vegas is not gonna do good. They're not gonna do well because they have no prospects. They traded them all. Like, you gotta build up that prospect pool and build for the future, and they haven't really done that. They could have done that at the expansion draft.
Yeah.
And everybody might have been expecting Seattle to be like, hey, we're gonna take a bunch of analytical gods and we're gonna go off just like Vegas did, and they could have been prepared for that. But Seattle just as well could have gone the exact opposite way. We'll take bums.
We'll take bombs. Call's about to end.
Okay, we gotta wrap it up.
So yeah, I think you pretty much said all of our thoughts. Seattle sucks. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode of the Tundra Cast, and we will see you next time.